New research suggests, get this, that 1 in 5 people have turned to DIY dentistry as they cannot get an appointment with a dentist. I know at times the news agenda might seem like you're pulling teeth, but quite literally now we are, because polling of 2,200 adults showed that 533 had tried and failed to get an appointment in the past year. And of those, 21% had carried out their own dental work or asked someone who was not a dentist to do so. Well, now I can speak to dentist Rhona Eskander. Rhona, thank you very, very much. This is incredible, right? So, firstly, is it that difficult to get a dentist appointment?
It's really difficult to get a dental appointment, and I think more so post-lockdown. There were so many things that were happening. So, for example, we had initially all the backlog and we had all the restrictions and the inability to see patients where reversible diseases became irreversible and so forth. But the problem then continued because a lot of dentists left the profession and a lot of dentists had to close their books to taking on new patients.
OK, so have you heard of any horror stories then from people? Because when it's like DIY dentistry, presumably we mean pulling your own teeth out, because you can't give yourself a filling, can you? Is that particularly dangerous to do?
Really dangerous to do, because actually taking out a tooth is extremely complex. You know, you can only see the part in your mouth that shows, but teeth are anchored into bone, they've got a nerve supply, you know, there's a blood supply and so forth. It's really quite complicated, hence why, you know, we have to study for so many years to do these procedures safely. The thing is, though, is that I did have a lot of patients contact me regarding emergency treatments during lockdown, as I had mentioned. And then these stories continued later on when they couldn't go and see a dentist. And you say the thing about the fillings, but actually they are also going to the chemist and trying to buy these fillings so they can plug into holes and so forth. So the problem is getting worse and worse.
Indeed. No, it sounds shocking. Can I just say as well, a lot of people are scared of dentists. OK, they have a bit of a phobia, not you as a person, but what you do, right? What would you say to those people? Because I think there are quite a few people who deliberately don't go initially when they notice a problem. That problem gets worse and then they end up needing more.
Yeah, I think you've made some really valid points there, and I think you've hit the nail on the head, to be honest. First of all, I'm not scary at all. No. But for those people that do think the dentist is scary, I think they've got to recognise that prevention is better than cure. And actually, if you have diseases, as it were, that could be rectified with simple procedures like having your teeth cleaned or an filling that has been spotted when it's early, these are going to be less invasive and less painful for you long term. So, for example, when a small hole forms, it turns into an irreversible disease when the decay becomes so deep that it reaches the nerve. That then leads to root canals and extractions, which are much more invasive. So I think you've got to think to yourself that if you go more often, you can be in a place where you won't have to have more invasive procedures. And I think really you've got to just try and do a little bit of research, spend some time. You know, there are websites, for example, that can really help you that are out there available to the public. There's Dental Phobia, where you can actually have a look at the website, see if there's any dentists that are qualified in helping people with phobias as such. And also we've got the Oral Health Foundation, which is a charity, and it gives free impartial advice to those in pain and can offer really good suggestions for those that can't get into a dentist.